Hi, welcome to our channel of IGNOU Audiobooks, Indira Gandhi National Open University, School of Management Studies, SOMS, Diploma in Retailing, DIRIL. Semester I, BRL 102 Retail Marketing and Communication. Unit 1 Overview of Retail Marketing, 1.0. Objectives. After studying this unit, you will be able to describe the retailing and identify elements of retailing. Explain different types of retailers both in store and non-store categories. Identify retail formats. List out factors for retailing decisions. Analyze emerging trends in retail marketing. Explain the core concepts of marketing applied to retail. Describe the scope of marketing in the light of retail. Describe the new developments in retail marketing. Synthesize the concepts of retail and marketing. Explore major decision areas in retail marketing and management. 1.1 Introduction. Retail marketing strategies touch virtually everything in a company's operation, including signage, store layout, sales and promotion, pricing strategies, adventure, checkout process, and customer services. A retrial marketing mix is similar to the traditional marketing mix, also known as the 5 petaseconds of marketing. 5. Retail marketing is a unique concept. Retail in India has been quite old. In India, every state and city within states have traditional family-run shops, modern retail shops comprising of groceries, QSR, auto retailers, jewelry, watches, sunglasses, apparel kids, ladies and men, fruits, auto product shops, drug stores, home furnishing, computer accessories, sports retail, furniture retail, books retail etc. These shops are situated in different catchment areas. Mall, high streets, inside the catchment, society shops, community market shops, standalone shops, highway shops. All the retail shops or stores are conducting business in their premises and making profits. Retail marketing is a function which allows retailers to understand the retail customers and use different mediums of marketing to increase sales. In this unit, you will learn about different retail marketing concepts. 1.2 Retail marketing touchpoints. The below data points can be tweaked with the help of retail marketing effort be tweaked with the help in retail business. All the pointers above directly impact positively to the retailer store business efficiencies and in result retail marketing achieves expected ROIs. 1.3. Importance of retail marketing. We know 5 petaseconds of marketing, out of 5 one of the P's is promotions. For a retailer, all marketing activities happen in the form of promotions and communication of promotions through various mediums of marketing, say, newspaper, TV, hoardings, leaflets, digital medium, Google SEO, location neighborhood catchment etc. For a retailer, these are the following set of activities are considered as marketing tools to get more customers inside the store and build loyalty within the customer base. 1. Assortment effectiveness. 2. Product pricing. 3. Product promotions. 4. Promotions communications. 5. Customer as brand ambassadors. 6. Effective product and price benchmarking. 1.4. Assortment effectiveness. Customer watches the assortment very closely. She makes up the mind regularly to shop from a store when a deep assortment is available, and customers finds all products under one roof and from time to time find new arrivals also to see new trends in the market in the form of new products. Product pricing. Pricing is a very effective tool. It is one of the P's of marketing. Price correction. Offering the right price is a key to retain customers and push them to buy regularly. Product promotions. How effectively a retailer is bringing attractive promotions for them to increase their saving in the shopping basket. Regular promotions like price off, B1G1, B2G2, B3G2 offers, discount coupons etc. is a needed element in the retail marketing. Promotions communications. This is very important for any retailer to communicate effectively in all mediums of marketing so that enough awareness penetration is achieved, and results achieved in the form of higher footfalls, new customers entry and regular flow of footfalls. Of course, we will have to see ROIs also of each marketing campaign. Customer brand ambassadors means the customer when the shop should be so happy with pricing, assortment and store service level that they themselves tell their neighbor, friends and relatives about the retailer. This is a true retail marketing effectiveness. Effective product and price benchmarking. Retailers do regular check on new products and price check so that they look inward and decide to correct pricing for the customer. Retail strategy and structure. A retail strategy is a statement identifying A. The retailer's target market. B. The format of retailing the retailer plans to use to satisfy market needs. C. The location suitable to the respective retail business. D. Medium of promotion. A. Pricing strategy. F. Product mix. G. The base on which the retailer plans to build a sustainable competitive advantage. The target market is the focus segment on which the retailer plans its resources and merchandise using a retail mix. For example, Bata is a specialty retailer whose retail mix focus on various of footwear. Successful retail operations depend largely on two main dimensions, margin and turnover. How far a retail enterprise can reach in margin and turnover depends essentially on the type of business, product lines, and the style and scale of the operations. In addition, the turnover also depends upon the professional competence of the enterprise. In a given business, two retail companies may choose two different margin levels, and yet both may be successful, provided the strategy and style of management are appropriate. For example, Food World and Food Bazaar, which sell almost similar products but the retail pricing are different from each other. Food World focuses on branded products while Food Bazaar, apart from offering branded products at less than the marked retail price (MRP), they also offer in-house quality brands at lower prices than branded products. Margin turnover model. Ronald R. Just 1 Inch suggested a conceptual framework, using margin and turnover, for understanding the retail structure and evolving a retail strategy. Margin is defined as the percentage markup at which the inventory in the store is sold, and turnover is the number of times the average inventory is sold in a year. Look at the screen. Figure 1.1, the retail quadrant. Fig. 1.1 is a diagrammatic representation of the framework and can be applied to almost any type of retail business. Depending upon the combination of the two parameters, a retail business will fall into one of the four quadrants. For instance, LL signifies a position which is low on both margin and turnover, whereas HL indicates HGH margin and low turnover. Low margin, high turnover stores. Such an operation assumes that low price is the most significant determinant of customer patronage. The stores in this category price their products below the market level. Marketing communication focuses mainly on price. They provide limited options in merchandise, no-frills environment, and they normally entail an extra charge whenever they offer service such as gift wrapping etc. The merchandise in these stores is generally in demand. This means that the customers buy the product, rather than the store selling them. These stores are typically located in residential locations and usually stock a wide range of fast-moving goods in several merchandise lines. The inventory consists of well-known brands for which a consumer pull is created by the manufacturer through national advertising. Local promotion focuses on low prices. Walmart in the United States is an example, and Big Bazaar chain or Subiksha are Indian examples of such stores. High margin, low turnover. This operation is based on the premise that distinctive merchandise, service and sales approach are the most important factors for attracting customers. Stores in this category price their products higher than those in the market, but not necessarily higher than those in similar outlets. The focus in marketing communication is on product quality and uniqueness. Merchandise is primarily sold in stores and not pre-sold. These stores provide a large number of services and sell select categories of products. They do not stock national brands which are nationally advertised. Typically, a store in this category is located in a downtown area or a major shopping center. Sales depend largely on salesmanship and image of the outlet. The Bombay stores is an example of this category of stores. They retail products which are unique for gifting and available in small quantities. The product mix being unique attracts customers to its store and generates business which has high margin but are low in turnover. High margin, high turnover stores. These stores generally stock a narrow line of products with turnover of reasonably high frequency. They could be situated in a non-commercial area but not too far from a major thoroughfare. Their location advantage allows them to charge a higher price. High overhead costs and low volumes also necessitate a higher price. Godrej have been leaders in the steel cupboard business and now office automation. Godrej products are priced at a premium but most sought after products and sell high volumes despite its high price and high margin the company makes. Low margin, low turnover store. Retail enterprises in this category are pushed to maintain low margins because of price wars. Compounding this problem is the low volume of sales, which is probably a result of poor management, unsuitable location etc. Such businesses normally get wiped out over a period of time. Carona was once a competitor to Bata in India and offered footwear at lower prices and ultimately could not sustain in the long run and shut shop. 1.5. Retail formats, classifying retail firms. It is important to understand the type of retail formats, and in every type of formats intensity of marketing is used basis the ownership pattern of a retailer. A. Independent retailer. An independent retailer usually is a small retailer, always not true, and is found in all lines of trade and in all communities. He may be a young man, fresh graduate just starting his own business, or he may be a man of advanced years with many of them spent in the field of retailing. In India, many of the independent stores tend to be passed on from one generation to another. In either case, he has a business of his own. B. Chain stores. A chain retailer or a chain store is a group of 2 or more outlets carrying the same sort of merchandise assortment. Owned and controlled jointly and usually supplied from one or more central warehouses. The main advantage of such a retail format is to make retailers able to bargain well with the suppliers. Another advantage is cost effectiveness in advertising and sales promotions. Thus, a very small number of stores constitute a chain store system. C. Franchising. A franchise is a contractual agreement between the franchisor and the franchisee that allows the franchisee the right to supply its brand, goods and services, exclusively within a defined area, as per a particular format for a specified period of time. In return, the franchisee pays a fixed fee in advance and a monthly percentage of gross sales made by him under franchisor name and fame in the form of royalty. In India, franchising business is becoming very popular and growing rapidly. D. Leased department stores. In India, leased departments are an emerging trend in the field of retail business. Most of the renowned retail chain stores set up their outlets or extension counters in commercial complexes of residential areas. Malls, PVR multiplexes, public places like bus terminals, railway stations, metro stations, airports and on national highways. The reason behind their popularity is the business and marketing philosophy of the retail chains that ensure the availability of their brands to the consumers near their place of work or home. Vertical marketing system. A vertical marketing system, VMS, is a system in which almost all the members of distribution channels such as manufacturers, wholesalers and retailers work together to satisfy human needs and wants by facilitating the smooth flow of goods and services from manufacturer to ultimate consumer. F. Consumer cooperatives. Consumer cooperatives are retail outlets owned and managed by its customer members. A group of interested customers, members, start retail operations by investing money, receive stock certificates, elect members to run day-to-day activities and share the profits on the basis of investment made or certificates held. 1.6. The Wheel of Retailing. The evolution of the department store illustrates the Wheel of Retailing theory. In its entry phase, the department store was a low-cost, low-service venture. With time it moved up into the trading up phase. It upgraded its facilities, stock selection, advertising and service. The same department store then moves into the vulnerability phase, because it becomes vulnerable to low-cost, low-service formats, such as full-line discount stores and category specialists. Figure 1.5 illustrates this theory. While the wheel hypothesis has a great deal of intuitive appeal and has been held out in general by many studies of retail development, it only reflects a pattern. It is not a sure indicator of every change, nor was it ever intended to describe the development of every individual retailer. Low-end phase. In this first phase of Wheel of Retail, where there was no significance of customer service and the retailers were purely focused to sell their offering at the discounted prices. As it is shown in the above diagram, the companies like Big Bazaar etc. are not concerned about the customer service and they sell their offerings at a heavy discount or clear the stock from the store at throwaway prices. They had given a tagline like, Sabse Sasta Sabse Acha. 66. Trading up phase. This is the second stage here. With the course of time moved up to trading phase. The retailers started focusing on the various facilities, merchandising, customer services etc. Vulnerable phase. This is the last stage of Wheel of Retailers. In this phase the same retailers moved up to this phase gradually as it becomes vulnerable for the retailers to be low-cost, low-service venture anymore because due to growing competition in the market and the consumer awareness has increased the consumer's expectation about the customer service and quality of the product however low it is. 1.7. Retailing decisions. There are factors which retailers look at while taking a decision about target customer, retail store size, format, positioning, assortment and pricing strategies. Retailing decisions, RJ markets, merchandise management, store location, store image, store personnel, store design, promotion, credit, because they are finding it increasingly difficult to satisfy everyone. Through a careful definition of target markets, retailers can use their resources and capabilities to position themselves more effectively and achieve differential advantage. The tremendous growth in the number of specialty stores in recent years is largely due to their ability to define precisely the type of customers they want to serve. Understanding customers, their affordability, product need and ability to spend helps in deciding the target market. Merchandise management. The objective here is to identify the merchandise that customers want and make it available at the right price, in the right place at the right time. Merchandise management includes I. Merchandise planning, E. Merchandise purchase, and E. Merchandise control. Merchandise planning deals with decisions relating to the breadth and depth of the merchandise mix needed to satisfy target customers to achieve the retailer's return on investment. ROI. Merchandise buying involves decisions relating to centralized or decentralized buying, merchandise resources and negotiation with suppliers. Merchandise control deals with maintaining the proper level of inventory and protecting it against shrinkage, theft, pilferage etc. Store location. Location is critical to the success of a retail store. A store's trading area is the area surrounding the store from which the outlet draws a majority of its customers. The extent of this area depends upon the merchandise sold. For example, some people might be willing to travel a longer distance to shop at a specialty store because of the unique and prestigious merchandise offered. Having decided on the trading area, a specific site must then be selected. Factors affecting the site include traffic patterns, accessibility, competitors' location, availability and cost, and population shifts within the area. Density of households and customers plays a very important role in site location. Store brand image. A store image is the mental picture or personality of the store a retailer likes to project to customers. Image is affected by advertising, services, store layout, personnel, as well as the quality, depth and breadth of merchandise. Customers tend to shop in stores that fit their images of themselves. Store staff. Sales staff at a retail store can help build customer loyalty and image. A major complaint in many lanes of retailing is the poor attitude of a salesperson. There is a growing trend now to provide training to these sales staff to convert them from order takers to effective sales associates. Store design. A store's exterior or the fit-out and store interior design influences the mind of the customers. The exterior should be attractive and inviting and should blend with the store's general surroundings. A good inviting window can influence customers to walk into a store for impulsive buying. The term atmospherics is used to refer to the retailer's effort at creating the right ambience. Visual merchandising of the store interior and exterior is dealt with specialists, visual merchandiser (IEVM), since they are equally important. An effective layout guides the customer through the various sections in the store and facilitates purchase. Promotion. Retail promotion includes all communication from retailers to consumers and between salespeople and customers. The objective is to build the store's image, promote customer traffic, and sell specific products. It includes both personal and non-personal promotion. Personal communication is personal selling, the face-to-face interaction between the buyer and the seller. Department stores and specialty stores emphasize this form of promotion. All retailers use sales promotions during occasions like new sale, Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, Children's Day, Christmas, etc. Non-personal promotion is advertising. The media used are TV, radio, newspapers, outdoor displays and direct mail. Other forms of promotion include displays, special sales, giveaway and contests etc. Credits. This explains the popularity of different types of credit cards and debit cards. Most white goods like refrigerators, washing machines, microwaves, television, kitchen appliances etc. are sold by retailers in association with credit card issuing banks on easy installments, thereby reducing their direct credit risks. 1.814. Emerging trends in retail marketing. In recent years, the nature of retailing has changed dramatically as retailers try to protect their market positions. Customers are no longer willing to spend as much time on shopping due to hectic and fast lifestyle. Some sectors of retailing have become saturated. Several retailers are operating under high levels of debt, and a number of retailers offer frequent sales, announcing markdowns, and have found it difficult to maintain regular prices. Retailers are adapting to the shopping needs and time constraints of working women, dual income no kids, DINKS, segment of customers and demanding customer interest in quality and customer service. Omni-channel marketing. Today retailers are providing similar experience across the channel in which they operate. The latest is omni-channel offerings. They provide seamless services to the customers so that they don't differentiate between physical retail and online sales, which they offer together. Shopping campaigns. Shopping campaigns are nowadays based on products searched maximum by customers. Retailers try to work on both the channels and ensure that these products are promoted with good images, taglines and with a link to land in their sales channel. Social media promotions. You may already be using social media to stay in touch with customers, promote new products and events, and deal with shopper queries. If so, try running ads to get your products or services in front of even more potential customers. All the major social media platforms make it easy to set up a campaign, and you can also focus on connecting with specific audiences based on their passions or interests. You may even be able to narrow your audience further by connecting with the friends of people who already liked your page. Email campaigns with around 400 million active Outlook users and 1.5 billion Gmail accounts, email marketing campaigns can be a powerful and cost-effective way to reach new customers. Bear in mind your recipients are likely to receive emails from other brands or businesses, so make sure your communications are timely, relevant and creative enough to grab attention while still being based around people's personal interests and preferences. You may also be able to select certain geographic areas, so you can focus on customers local to you or even overseas. Bear in mind too, that 53% of emails are now opened on mobile devices, so ensure your emails are designed to be easily legible on smaller screens. Remarketing strategies. As a retailer, you'll know it's easier and more profitable to generate sales from previous customers. In fact, almost a third, 32%, of customers order again from the same company within their first year of being a customer. Your challenge is to find new and relevant ways to remind shoppers that your business is there for them, and a good way to do that is through creating seasonal ad campaigns. For example, it could be during the summer sales, Black Friday, or, if appropriate to your offering, the back-to-school period. As well as developing engaging and seasonally relevant creative content for your website, ads, social media, etc., you'll need to make sure you plan each campaign far in advance so you're ready to capture demand as soon as shoppers are ready to buy. Key to the success of your retail operation will be delivering memorable experiences that customers love and keep coming back to you. 1.9 Concept of Marketing. Management in retail. In this section we shall discuss the areas that the marketing covers. Whatever concepts we have learnt in the previous section in the definition of marketing form the core concepts of marketing. The concept of marketing revolves around demand for the product, services. At the end of this lesson, you will be in the position to briefly understand all the major concepts of marketing which will be dealt with in detail later on. Needs are the basic human requirements. People need food, air, water, clothing. E.g. air, food, water, shelter, clothing, rest, sex, sleep. If these needs are not satisfied, the human body cannot function optimally. Maslow considered physiological needs the most important, as all the other needs become secondary until these needs are met. 2. Safety need. Once an individual's physiological needs are satisfied, the needs for security and safety become salient. People want to experience order, predictability and control in their lives. These needs can be fulfilled by the family and society, e.g., police, schools, business and medical care. For example, emotional security, financial security, e.g. employment, social welfare, law and order, freedom from fear, social stability, property, health and well-being, e.g. safety against accidents and injury. 3. Love and belongingness need. After physiological and safety needs have been fulfilled, the third level of human needs is social and involves feelings of belongingness. Belongingness refers to a human emotional need for interpersonal relationships, affiliating, connectedness, and being part of a group. 4. Esteem need are the fourth level in Maslow's hierarchy and include self-worth, accomplishment and respect. Maslow classified esteem needs into two categories: I. Esteem for oneself, dignity, achievement, mastery, independence, and E. The desire for reputation or respect from others, e.g., status, prestige. Maslow indicated that the need for respect or reputation is most important for children and adolescents and precedes real self-esteem or dignity. 5. Self-actualization need are the highest level in Maslow's hierarchy, and refer to the realization of a person's potential, self-fulfillment, seeking personal growth and peak experiences. Maslow, 1943, describes this level as the desire to accomplish everything that one can, to become the most that one can be. While deciding type of customer, promotions, product and pricing, Maslow's theory plays a very important role in differentiating customers. 1.10 Core marketing concepts. The effective marketing starts with the identification of the consumer and his needs. The marketer develops marketing program for satisfying customer needs with the firm's products and services. The marketing process consists of 4 steps. 16. 1. Analyzing the marketing environment. 2. Selecting target markets. 3. Developing the marketing mix. 4. Implementing and controlling. Now let's study each of them briefly. 1. Analyzing the marketing environment. Marketing task starts with the identification of the consumer needs. Therefore, the first step in the marketing process is the analysis of the marketing environment to identify the new needs or the existing needs not satisfied by any product offer, or the needs which can be satisfied through better product offerings. For this purpose, you have to analyze the opportunities by scanning the marketing environment. Marketing analysis talks about finding out the current position of the company in the form of current market share, market power, the relevant strengths and weaknesses of the company in relation to competitors and market opportunity and threats it is likely to face in the marketing environment. The marketers use various techniques like SWOT analysis, scenario building, etc., and other environmental scanning techniques. 2. Selecting target markets. At the second stage, the marketer has to decide about the target, the company's business mission, the category of customers it wants to serve, and the type of strategy to arrive at the set goals. For this reason, one of the first tasks in marketing planning is to divide the heterogeneous market into relatively homogeneous segments. Once a particular customer group is identified and analyzed, the marketing manager can direct company resources and activities to market into various segments, called market segmentation. Each segment consists of consumers who respond in a similar way to a given set of marketing efforts. Then the marketer evaluates each segment and selects one or more segments in which he can generate the greatest customer value and sustain it over a long period. This is called market targeting. After identifying the target market, you must decide market positioning, that is the place the product occupies relative to the competitor's product in the consumer's mind. If the product is perceived to be exactly like the competitor's products, the consumers would have no reason. 3. Developing the marketing mix. The third step in the marketing process is deciding the marketing mix. It is easier to divide the marketing activities into 4 basic elements which are together referred to as marketing mix. These 4 basic elements are a. Product, b. Price, c. Promotion, d. People, and a. Place. They are referred to as the 5 petaseconds of the marketing mix, or the 5 petaseconds in the marketing. Thus, marketing mix may be defined as the set of controllable marketing variables, activities that the firm blends to produce the response it wants in the target markets. Let us understand the 5 petaseconds in detail. A. Products. The word products stand for the goods or services offered by the organization. Once the needs are identified, it is necessary to plan the product and after that keep on analyzing whether the producer still satisfies the needs which were originally planned for, and if not, to determine the necessary changes and decisions such as branding, packaging, after-sales service etc. B. Price. Price is the consumer has to pay. Price must be considered as value of the product to become an effective marketing tool. The product has to be reasonably priced. The manufacturer has to take into consideration cost factors, profit margin, the possibility of sales at different price levels and the concept of right price. C. Promotion. Promotion is the aspect of selling and advertising or communicating the benefits of the product or service to the target customers or the market segment in order to persuade them to purchase such products or services. It includes selling through advertising as well as through the sales force. Besides, a certain amount of promotion is also done through special seasonal discounts, competitions, special price reduction etc. D. Place. Location. Place refers to the location of the store or the marketplace where the retailer wants to sell his/her products. The location or the respective marketplace should be well connected with the various modes of transportation like metro, bus, auto rickshaw etc. The location should be at such a place in the town so that the majority of the customer can easily reach the shopping destination without much hassle. In case it is at the remote corner of the town, the potential customer will have to travel a long distance to reach the shopping destination from the other corner of the city. Therefore, rather traveling such a long distance, your customer will go to your competitors. A. People. This P of marketing refers to the finding of the right or good. Getting refers to the finding of the right or good people or employees. Now, when we are talking about people in relation to marketing, we are actually talking about employees who run your business and include front of house staff, sales assistants, salespeople etc. These staff members are critically important as they are the ones who interact with customers. This means they play a huge role in your marketing efforts, customer satisfaction and user experience, and are key to your overall marketing mix. 4. Implementing and controlling. At the 4th stage, a marketing plan is to be implemented. In the absence of a proper implementation program, marketing planning exercise would become just a paperwork. The implementation revolves around executing the strategy and the resources for achieving the marketing goals or targets. The marketing managers execute the strategy by converting it to operational plans which are achievable within a specified period of time frame. The 4th stage also includes marketing control, which is a process of benchmarking the expended effort and resources with the set goals. Examples. Marketing mix for Company A, making toothpastes. Product, 3 varieties, regular, mint, gel, brand name extension, Anchor, 2 sizes, 50 grams, 100 grams, simple packaging, red and white colors. Price, list price, 16 rupees per 50 grams, 30 rupees per 100 grams, discounts of 10% on 100 grams for 1 month. Place, location, those serving existing retail outlets and medical stores, coverage, most parts of Delhi. Promotion, advertising, only on television, direct marketing, none, sales force, 10 salespersons to start with and watching the performance over time. People, the right types of employees who directly face the customer and interact with them. A knowledgeable employee will make the customer experience superb and retain the customer to the large extent. Note, it must be noted that every marketing mix is particular for a target market and it may change with changes in target markets. There are 5 C's corresponding to these 5 petaseconds. The P's represents the seller's point of view. The C's represents the buyer's point of view. Note, winning companies will be those who can meet customer needs economically and conveniently and with effective communication. 5 petaseconds. Product, price, place, promotion, people. 5 C's. Customer solution, customer cost, convenience, communication. 1.11 Marketing in the new economy. What is the new economy? Is it something different from the old economy? With the emergence of marketing, we also witness the emergence of new economy characterized by the following. A substantial increase in purchasing power. A greater variety of available goods and services. A great amount of information about everything. A great ease in interacting and placing orders. An ability to compare notes on products and services. Today's companies also have new capabilities as given below. Ability to operate powerful information and sales channels. Ability to collect fuller and richer information about markets, customers, prospects, and competitors. Faster internal communication amongst employees. Two-way communication with customers and prospects. Send ads, coupons, samples, and information to customers. Customize offerings and services to individual customers. Improved purchasing, recruiting, and training. Improved external communication. Improved logistics and service quality. The entire growth has been fueled by the economic growth of the last half a century. The focus in the early 50s was on marketing of consumer goods, which shifted to industrial marketing. The latter development was largely due to increase in size and number of firms. With the growth in maturity of both, the consumer and the supplier, a new school of marketing in the form of non-profit and societal marketing emerged in the early 70s. The business realized that they have a larger role to perform than mere profit making. With the changes in lifestyle and enhanced standards of living, newer and newer services hit the marketplace. From education, communication, consultancy to Medicare and health, all kinds of services were being offered in the market. The marketing of services had arrived. Marketing today knows no borders. From mere exporting, the firms had now acquired global orientation to herald the era of global marketing. For NINCs, the entire world is a single huge market. It was time now that some of these MNCs like Toyota, Honda, Sony, Mercedes, and Philips etc. became household names. Customers with a wide choice and variety of products are virtually the king in the market today. It is for his satisfaction that the firms compete with each other. No wonder new dimensions to marketing like customer relationship management have been added. Not only the firms want the customer to come to Thane but also retain him for future. Some of the firms want to reach the customer directly, eliminating the middlemen, the concept of direct marketing. Yet another facet of marketing has emerged with the advent of the internet and revolutionary changes in communication technology, the online one-to-one marketing. E-commerce and e-marketing are the future of marketing. In fact, the marketing of the 21st century will be greatly influenced by the new technologies in the field of communication. Let us sum up. Retailing encompasses those business activities involved with the sale of goods and services to the final consumer for personal, family, or household use. It is the final stage in a channel of distribution. Retailing has an impact on the economy because of the high volume of sales generated and the number of people employed. Retailers perform a variety of functions such as product assortment, providing information, handling merchandise, and completing transactions. Retail businesses may be classified according to a number of criteria including variety of products they sell, types of ownership, and style of operation. A number of hypotheses, including the wheel of retailing, have been proposed to explain the evolutionary development of retailing institutions. Traditional retail. Retail businesses, supermarkets, convenience stores, department stores, discount and specialty stores, have been joined by category specialists. Superstores, hypermarkets, and catalog showrooms etc. Supermarkets are focusing more on food items and perishables. The unit discussed the basic issues in marketing so that students can integrate it with concepts of retailing. Marketing means managing markets to bring about profitable exchange relationships by creating value. Needs are basic in nature and cannot be created. However, wants can be created, and the entire success of marketing activity would depend upon the effective creation of wants and demands. A product is a solution to the customer's problem and/or provides the customer an opportunity. The unit explained concepts of exchange and transaction. There was a brief discussion on customer value and satisfaction. Marketers use numerous tools to elicit desired responses from their target markets. These tools constitute a marketing mix. Marketing mix is the set of marketing tools that the firm uses to pursue its marketing objectives in the target market. The evolution of marketing and how marketing would look in the future were also addressed. Thank you for watching. We will see you in the next video with the next chapter.